Hey everybody, thanks for watching this research video on the Wandering Village. My name is Sarmate and I'm going to be going through what I feel like are the best techs to begin with when you start a new game here in the Wandering Village. We have the Hornblower as one of the first options. We also have Dung Collector and Village. Now, I think if we go into Ambu here and start with the Hornblower, this is going to be one of the best things to get started with. This allows you to control which direction your Ambu is traveling. And this is really important in this game so that you can avoid obstacles in the world, such as things like this poison cloud or this poison cloud. You are also able to choose which direction you go at the crossroads. So you can see here, I went up north here into the desert to avoid this spore cloud. You are also able to control the run speed with walk, run. There's also a few additional commands. We have lie down and sleep. We can use these things, walk and run, to avoid the crossing of your path of the spore clouds. We also gain the ability to change directions at the crossroads with the Hornblower. Now that's of course assuming that you have somebody working in there. If you don't have anybody working in the Hornblower, then it's not going to do anything for you. The second tech that I would suggest going down is starting with the Dung Collector. Now the Dung Collector itself isn't the thing that I'm really after here. It does provide fertilizer, which is pretty nice, but the thing we're looking for is the Bile Extractor here. This is going to extract bile from Ambu's gallbladder, and what that's going to do, that's this guy right here, it sits there and works automatically. There's no worker that goes into it. It works off of the heart rate of the Ambu, and what this is going to do is provide fuel for your decontaminators that they can use to put out poison spores when you inevitably run into them in this game. That's why I think getting the Bile Extractor going and accumulating a fuel source to deal with the spores is a very important piece. The next tech that I would suggest working on is working down the tree here to get the Decontaminator. To get there, we're going to have to go through the kitchen, the village doctor, and the Decontaminator. So we'll go through and talk about each one of these until we get to the Decontaminator here. The kitchen is good. It's going to refine your berries, beets, and Ambu blood into processed food. So I have a couple here. One of them's working, the other one isn't. Since we have berries around town here, I have several berry gatherers. We have one right here, and then we have one right here. And since I'm at 47 people, my people have a settlement population level, so they require more food quality and variety. So the kitchen is going to affect the food quality, and that comes into play once you get 20 villagers. So you come over here, and you can choose. There's a few things you can get going here. We have the berries, the beet soup, the polenta. Right now we're working on berry muesli, whatever the word is, and we're making some processed food, better quality. That's what we're working on here with the kitchen. The next thing that is in the tree here is the village doctor. It heals poisoned villagers using the herbs. Now, if you're going through a new game here, and as you're working, you want to be constructing a few things. For the village doctor, you're going to need the herbalist here. So we have a little bit of a patch going on here. A couple workers in there getting us some medicinal herbs here. And these things are going to be used by the village doctors to heal your people who become poisoned, either through being gathered up through the scav huts or getting picked up when you're walking along the road, or if you have a big spore cloud that comes over, the village doctors are going to be the ones that heal your people. Now, of course, the Ambu itself also gets poisoned, and you're also going to be using the herbalist to create herbs to heal the Ambu. And we'll get to that when we talk about the Ambu Doctor here in just a sec. Another thing to be getting at this point in the game is getting your mycologist going. The reason being is this guy's going to produce food for the Ambu, and there's going to be a couple things that utilize that coming up here very shortly. So get that going about this time in your game. You will be prepared for when we're ready to start feeding Ambu. Okay, then the last thing here is the Decontaminator. Fights the spread of toxic plants using biogas or Ambu bile as fuel. So that's what we talked about a little bit ago with the Bile Extractor. So if we click on this guy here, you can see that we have some in the inventory ready to go. And so how I normally operate with these guys, you can have up to 5 people in them. There's really no need to have 5 people in a decontaminator when you don't have anything decontaminate. So what we're doing now, what I normally do is have a couple worker posts. I like to usually have more than just one person in here. What I normally do is fill this up, and then when I need to decontaminate an area, I go ahead and add a whole bunch of workers, and then I subtract from my worker post, and then they go over to the decontaminator, do their thing, and deal with the poison in that way. So that's the setup to help deal with the poison in the game. It's pretty basic to get started with here, but it can become overwhelming when you get hit with a huge blast of poison and you have no idea how to deal with it, and then it's spreading and it gets worse and worse and worse. I sometimes even use more than one decontaminator just to really be safe. For now, this one has been working pretty great for me. The other great thing about a single decontaminator is it covers the whole back of Ambu. If you go through a smaller patch of spores, you are able to control it much easier with just the one decontaminator. They can go all the way down here and clean it up, burn it up. It's pretty nice. So they don't really have a restricted range. They can deal with the whole back Ambu. The one caveat with the Hornblower is that it doesn't work unless Ambu trusts you. So there's a few ways to do that. So we mentioned the mycologist, right? So we're making some food. We're getting some mushrooms, gathering up. Now the mushrooms themselves are not the food for him. So what we're going to need to do to actually feed this thing is we're going to have to go to the Ambu kitchen. So we're going to get this thing next, make some mushrooms into Ambu food. The other key piece here is the Ambu feeding trebuchet. So we have the Ambu kitchen, which is going to be this guy right here. It's going to make mushroom into Ambu food. It takes a little bit of time. You need 20 mushrooms to make one food. And then what happens once we get the food working here, I'll show you here, starting my game up. We have our trebuchet over here. So again, like the Hornblower, you have to have somebody in here. You go ahead and hit show interactions. And then we have a couple of things here. Ambu food is the only thing I have unlocked right now. We have constipator and also laxative, but we aren't going to worry about those. So the Ambu food, you can see there we have 6 out of 1. Ambu's a little bit hungry, so let's go ahead and give Ambu a snack. So it's going to take a second for your villagers to prepare the trebuchet, but we'll see it'll react here in just a moment. We'll speed up the game time. And there you go. You can see that the trebuchet launched, and then it goes in and catches it. And there you go. You have just fed Ambu. So this is going to help increase its trust in you. And the only way that you're going to be able to control it as you go through crossroads is if it has a little bit of trust in you. If you go over here to the Ambu Doctor, which I think would be a good thing to get in about this time once you get your feeding trebuchet up and running. We're going to grab the Ambu Doctor, and this allows you to send out workers to cure Ambu of poison or heal it. So let's go ahead and check that out. So we go over here to our doctor. We have a full staff ready to go. Show interactions. It's very similar to the trebuchet for the UI here. We have antidote, cure health, and pet Ambu. So if you pet Ambu, increases its trust in you just for fun. There isn't anything you need required for that. We do have a little bit of poison on our Ambu here, 26. So we're going to go ahead and hit antidote. It's going to use 10 of our herbs, but then we'll see here, just like with the trebuchet, we'll have this little balloon guy right here. You'll watch it, it'll rise up, and it will buzz over to the front of Ambu, and it'll give it some herbs to heal it up. You can see there it is, going buzzing up, runs to the front, gives him some goodies, comes back, and there you go. That is the Ambu Doctor at work. The next thing that you're going to want to be getting into, since we already have kitchen unlocked, we don't have to worry about that. But the next really important piece is going to be the Scavenger Hut here. So that'll be the last thing. It sends out workers to scavenge rare resources and find new villagers. So this thing is really great. So if we go over here into our town, we have 2 of them. You have to have 2 workers in there full time. We'll open up the map here. You can see some of these goodies that I've already gotten and that are waiting to get picked up. So we'll open the map. We have a variety of things out here. I have a video that I discuss each one of these things and what they do and why you might want to be getting them. You can see that we're in the midst of scavenging up a shrine over here. It's almost completed. And all of these things with the X's over it, we've already been to. So that's a way you can tell if you've been to some place. There's a variety of things you can get in here. Corey's going to get you some stone. Ruined settlements have leftover food, or maybe some villagers. Oases are water. So a couple of examples there of some things you can get with the Scavenger Hut. That's going to be the end of this video for my suggested research to get started here. Now there's a couple of things you can't get into until you get some knowledge, and you get that with the Scavenger Hut. So that's going to be the basics that I think, and the order that I think you should be getting these things in. The reason, of course, is to be fighting those spores right away in the beginning, and then taking care of your Ambu to make sure that it doesn't die so that you don't die. So thanks for watching this research video of the Walking Village. I hope you learned something, and I hope you enjoy playing the game. I hope to see you again soon.